Well, hello. STEM to Roots short story series. This is your host, Mike Demba. Super grateful that you stopped by to hang out with me. Please make sure you feel at home. Make yourself feel at home. Subscribe to show you are part of this community. In the comment section, just go ahead and be as loud as possible because you're home. All right. So today's short story is one that I'm about to share in a way that I don't think I've ever shared before. This is so close to my heart. This is something that I'm admitting that I'm being vulnerable because it's relevant to the conversation we have here at STEM to Roots. So it's only right that I dig in deep. So every single day, hundreds of Africans travel away from the continent for so many different reasons. But one reason that we actually share, one reason that we have in common, is that we're going to seek a better place. But at what cost? And that's my question today. At what cost? So you know this, and I know this right now as you watch or listen to this recording right now. A citizen of Africa is packing to leave the continent right now as we speak with the guarantee that there's somebody that they care about that they will never get to see again. Ever. Apologies. Like I said, I'm going dark. Now, I am fully aware that death is inevitable. We can't avoid it, all right? So we live and deal with it when it comes, all right? So we know for sure that it will, right? So it will be so foolish of us to allow ourselves to be handicapped by the reality that we're all going to die. So we don't have control of it. So none of us has control of death, and so we can't just sit around. So we have to live our lives, you know. So in that case, there's somebody packing up right now, knowing that hey, this is a guarantee, but they're gleefully packing to go seek a better place. This was me, the person that I just described. This was me on that very evening of January 9th, 2004. Nothing on that day was gonna stop me from leaving for the United States of America. This country that I heard and had the feeling that it's so great, it actually bothered heaven. Right? I remember it like it was yesterday. That very night, my entire family helped me pack. There was excitement around the house. There was admiration around the house. There was envy around the house because I was leaving for this place that we all had this perception of that, is again bothers with heaven. My house was just full of joy and happiness, and everybody was packing up. There was, a lot of just partying in the air. I remember this like it was last night. My mom and my dad were sitting across from the TV on a couch because it was right after dinner, so they were watching the evening news. My mom got up and wanted to get ready to come with me to the airport. I remember my dad putting his hand on her lap and saying, "Oh, just stay, let the kids go with him." The cab that was waiting outside was a five-passenger vehicle that my dad let my mom know, let the kids go. So the people that came with me that evening were my sister, our neighbor, and I think one of my brothers. So I left. I arrived in the US. 4 years have gone by where my primary source of communication with my dad was emailing. So it was not video calls. There was no WhatsApp in 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our primary source of communication was emailing, and I was so broke, I was not able to make frequent calls because calls were expensive. Like $5 was like a minute or two if you're lucky, because you never get a card that will serve you that long. I was a broke student. Fast forward to July 1st, 2008. I will never forget that early morning. My dad succumbed to the hands of pancreatic cancer without proper goodbyes. Without proper goodbyes, because for 2 months of sickness, the entire family was hiding this from me because my dad wanted them to protect me. This was a strange way of showing love because he wanted to protect me. So it was not communicated to me. When I found out just a couple of days before, it was already too late. So I did not know that the last time that I was going to see my father was that night that I left him sitting on the couch across from the TV. No hugs, no I love yous, not even a handshake. Because in the household that I grew up in, like a lot of other Africans, affection from your father is not physical. Love and affection from your father is sacrifice. Pure sacrifice. Where you watch your dad toil day in, day out to go out there, come back in, and provide for his family. All in quietness. All in pure hustle that they shield away from their kids. So you only get to see it unfold. So I was so conscious of my dad's sacrifice, everything that I lived for from the day that I left, everything that I lived for was to get to that day when I will make him have a seat for the first time and watch me provide. So I wanted to give him love by showing him that I was aware of his sacrifice. A man that had 5 kids of his own, but a father to many. He raised and played an integral role in the lives of over 30 different people, 30 different kids. And this is a conservative number. My dad, whether it was the neighborhood, whether it was people that lived with him, whether it was people that met him at work, whether it's just the community, I've heard this over and over and over. Up till now, all these years later, I've heard so many people tell me stories about what he did for them. The man lived a life of service to other people. And so I wanted to give him that level of love back. Because I watched him every now and then mention things that he wanted that I recorded at the back of my mind. I wanted to repay him that. I wanted to give him those things that I heard him talk about wanting. He always wanted a truck. So I wanted to provide that. He always wanted a house by the beach. So I wanted to walk my tail off to actually get him that one day. So he wanted to revisit Nairobi, Kenya, where he went to college. So I wanted to save up and surprise him with a trip to Kenya. Dude was unable to wait for me to get to that point. And that makes me bitter sometimes. For 14 to 15 years later, I feel the same level of pain, yet admittedly, on that day, on that evening of January 9th, 2004, nothing, absolutely nothing was going to stop me from getting on that plane for the United States of America. I'm sure not even he will let me stay. What is it about our continent? What is it about Africa that pushes us this far away from our loved ones? Guaranteed that we will lose someone we care about. What is it about our continent that pushes us away? What needs to change in Africa? What needs to change in our continent so that leaving becomes a choice? A choice. What is it that needs to change in our continent? Right now, as I speak to you, almost every single person in Africa right now that gets the chance to leave for the US, for Europe, for Australia, for some countries in Asia, will leave even with this guarantee that they're going to lose somebody they care about. These are the kind of things I want us to talk about, what needs to change in our continent. Stem to roots. Share your story. This is mine. Apologies that I went this dark. Until the next one. Ciao. Bye, bye.